right, guys. Well, welcome to our first installment of Sports Up. I am Lauren, and with me, as usual, is Kate. How you doing, Kate?
Good. How are you? We've got a pretty big interview today.
We have a very, very special guest. Do you want to introduce our guest today?
Yeah, our guest is Mike Antonini. He's played for the Mets, the Dodgers, the Angels, and he currently just finished his season with the Bluefish. Let's welcome Mike.
Hello, Mike. How you doing?
Good, thanks for having me.
Oh, of course, anytime. So, let's talk about draft day. You want to talk about draft day, Kate? I know we wanted to talk about this. What was being called up to the majors like for you?
I mean, it's a childhood dream going into it, so it was a pretty big day. It happened on, I think it was April 24th. I got the call from my manager, like 12:30 a.m. We had just gotten back from a game, so I wasn't really expecting the call, but I was excited, and first thing I did was call home and told my mom, and everyone was excited, and I mean, that's basically how it went.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to pitch, but I mean, it was a childhood dream just to be there.
Do you want to talk to us about like some of the friends you've made throughout the different organizations?
Yeah, there's countless guys I still keep in touch with, and I mean, it's kind of like a brotherhood, and there's groups on Facebook and all around to keep in contact with all the guys, which is nice to have throughout your life, to be able to travel around the United States or even Venezuela, Puerto Rico, and have some contacts and friends to catch up with.
All right, and play the game that you grew up playing and loving. You know, I played softball here at Iona, and just to be able to go to the different states. We went to California and Washington for regionals and stuff like that, and like just to be able to travel and see that stuff is cool. So I totally hear where you're coming from. But I wanted to ask you about, you know, through the organizations that you've played with and everything. Who's your favorite that you had the chance to play with?
I'm grateful for the Mets for giving me the opportunity first. I still have friends in that organization, but the Dodgers were the ones that gave me the call up to the major league, so I'll be grateful for that organization forever. And I mean, whether it's the Dodgers or the Mets, I have a lot more ties with them than the Angels because I was there for such a short time. But I'm grateful for all the opportunities that those organizations gave me, but I kind of like to see the Mets or Dodgers win. I know they're both in the National League, but I kind of pull for both of those teams.
I hear you. I'm a Yankees fan myself, but I mean, if a New York team's gonna go for it, I'm gonna take the Mets. If you had a dream team to play for, who would it be?
I would like to play at home in Philadelphia.
Oh, very nice. That stadium's a very beautiful stadium too.
Yeah, it's not very pitcher friendly, but it'd be fun to play in front of all the friends and family, and
definitely. It's always a good crowd in Philly. Always a good crowd.
So this season you had the chance of pitching for Jenny Fitch when she guest managed. How was that different, you know, than any other guest managers that you guys had with the Bluefish?
It was just exciting because it was the first woman to ever manage a baseball team, and the pressure of just trying to get a win. And I think we were undefeated at that point in guest manager, so there was a little added pressure, but it was fun. She was really cool, and she took time to sign and take pictures with everyone. But I mean, usually your manager's like another guy. It's not some attractive 6-foot blonde lady coaching you.
She's my idol. So when I heard she was gonna guest manage for you guys, it was kind of almost like oh my god, like a softball player, a legendary softball player is gonna manage a baseball team, like never been done before. And I think when I saw that, I think it's do you think here's a question for you. Do you think that because of Jenny Finch being the first, you know, guest managing and everything, but do you see maybe, you know, next 5, maybe even 10 years, I don't know, do you see a female ever, you know, being a hired manager for a minor or a major league team?
I think there's such a big difference between softball and baseball, and just I mean, just with how the games are played and the pace, I could see it being like a bench coach possibly, but a manager, I think we're still a while from that happening.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be pretty cool to see, but I just think it's such a different game, and they'd have to take big steps into kind of someone taking it under the wing like they do in the NBA with the Spurs have the assistant coach who's a woman.
Right.
And there's a lot of trainers that are women in the major leagues now. So, I mean, it's gradually progressing, but as far as a manager, I think it's still a while away.
Right.
Was there any differences between a female manager and a male manager that you noticed?
Besides her being beautiful and...
Not really, because the celebrity guests and the guest managers, they don't. It's more publicity just to get the crowd there, and they're not really making any decisions or doing anything. It's just kind of like I said, it's a chance for the fans to interact and take pictures and get some autographs signed. But as far as managing, it was just like any other game. Nothing crazy about that end.
How did you feel about like Tim Tebow making the change from football to baseball over the summer?
I kind of have mixed feelings about that.
I think a lot of
people
do.
On the one hand, seems like a great guy, and I think he'll be a good mentor for the younger guys in the organization to kind of see his work ethic and how he goes about being a professional. And it's going to be tough for him to in that regard. I have a lot of respect for him. But as far as just saying one day, like, I'm going to try baseball now and have the resources to get scouts there and sign a $100,000 contract and do all that, I think there's a lot of players, college, high school, and undrafted guys that have the skill set to get an opportunity that don't. And I just think it's a little unfair just based on his name that he gets that opportunity, but he seems like he's into it, and hopefully he's able to make a career out of it. We'll see.
When did you find out that the Bluefish had offered him a contract?
I saw it retweeted on Twitter.
Twitter.
I thought it was a joke, but once you saw his contract, yeah, it was pretty real, and a lot of the big networks were retweeting it and responding to it. So once I saw that, I saw that it was real, but I never thought that he would sign to an indie ball.
I think everybody pretty much, when I saw that, like, I thought it was a joke too. I thought it was like, I mean, back when, Jordan wanted to play baseball after, and he was just like in the White Sox organization, everybody was like, oh, but he had, his father wanted him to be a baseball player. But like, when I saw Tebow wanted to play baseball, I was like, after I saw he hit a 430-foot home run in batting practice, though, I was a little, all right, maybe, but can you hit a fastball? Could you hit a curveball? Those are the things that I was kind of a little questionable about. But we'll see how he does. I mean, good luck to him. I mean, I hope he does well, but I don't know how well Tebow's going to play baseball in any league.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys that hit 400-foot home runs in batting practice.
That's what I'm saying,
so
though.
On that, it's not very rare that happens. So, I mean, anything to get him more publicity and get his whole thing going even more. That's what, I mean, ESPN's all over it, and it's going to be hard for him to do.
And the jerseys, they already made jerseys for him. So it's kind of just like they're already selling his merch, and he's not even really on the team, really. I mean, he's not, not part of the roster. So it's really, I mean, really, I would probably, I have to agree with you, Mike. I really think it is just it is a publicity stunt, really, in general, but they're making so much money off of it already, and he's not even playing. He's only, he's barely even practicing right now.
Yeah, as a 29-year-old free agent to sign, I mean, he's going to have to go through the levels pretty fast and make adjustments, and just based on his tryout and his footwork and just skill set, I think it's going to be harder than what he thinks, but maybe he can make the adjustments. I don't know, but 29 years old, being rookie into the organization, it's going to be pretty tough.
Right. So, I mean, talking about Tebow and, coming in, making adjustments and all that, but, I mean, he's going to face some challenges here and there, and he already is, but I want to know what's the biggest challenge that you faced in your career?
I mean, just making adjustments based on the levels. As you go up in the levels, the hitters have a better approach. They have a better understanding of the strike zone. Just so being able to work off that, some in low A to be successful, it's different than what it takes in Double A, Triple A, and to move further. But probably the biggest thing would be having an elbow injury and then trying to rehab and come back and prove that I'm able to pitch at a high level when I am healthy. So that's probably the biggest thing to prove to myself that.
So with the stress, you have a stress fracture in your left elbow. Has that gotten progressively better over time, or are you still rehabbing that currently before you go to Venezuela?
Yeah, I'm still rehabbing it, but it's good to go. I'm cleared to start throwing, and I've been throwing for a little bit now. So I do everything precautionary that I can with ice and stim and different treatments and all that, just to try to prevent it. But I don't know exactly what it is that it keeps reoccurring, but in talks with the doctors and stuff, I'm trying to do everything I can on my end to prevent that from happening.
Right.
I think we're going to take a little bit of a quick break, music break, and then we'll come back and talk about your future plans, you going to Venezuela, and we'll be back in about 2-3 minutes.